So to get started with script to video, you'll be using the first use case and you'll click on proceed. Here you can either type in your script or you can paste it from an external source. So let's say if you're using something like ChatGPT or if you have your own Word document elsewhere, you can just paste it in. So I'll just select this text here and I'll paste it. You can use Control C, Control V on PC or Command C, Command V on Mac, or you can right click and you'll get the options to paste your script. Now, on the script editor, it is auto saved. So whatever script that you type in or script that you paste is auto saved on the editor itself. So if you were to leave your project, come back to it, you can just pick up where you left it from. What Pictory will now do once you click on proceed is it will analyze your content. It will pick up keywords for you and create a video from it, but you can also choose to highlight certain keywords so you get more relevant visuals on your video. So let's say, for example, I want branded videos to be a keyword for my video. I'll select it, click on the highlight button here. So now that you see it's in bold, this indicates that it is now a keyword and Pictory will consider it while picking out stock visuals for you. Similarly, you can make these changes throughout your script and all of them are being saved as in when you do it. And before you click on proceed, you also have scene settings right below it. The first one is auto highlight keywords. So as I mentioned earlier, Pictory can choose the keywords for you. If you don't want that, you can just disable it. You can leave it on as well and also choose the keywords that you have manually added. Then you have auto visual selection. This is also turned on by default. So whenever you have this selected, Pictory will pick out visuals for you. If you do disable it, you'll get a blank screen. Instead of the visuals, you'll just have a blank background. So you can add in your own visuals or a plain background if you wish. And lastly, you have create new scenes. So here on the drop down, you have three options. The first one is sentence break, the second one is line break, and the third is both. Now, what do these mean? These allow you to customize where you want a new scene to start from. So in the next step, which is the storyboard, Pictory will convert your sentences or your script into different scenes. You get the option to choose where you want each scene to start from. If you have a sentence break selected, Pictory will select and start a new scene on each sentence. So as you can see, I have three different sentences here. So I'll have scene one, scene two, and scene three. If I have line break selected, regardless of where my sentence ends, if I have a line break, that will be a new scene. Now, if I press enter here in the middle of the sentence, that's a line break for you. So now I'll have scene one, scene two, even though they are part of the same sentence. And then scene three and scene four. If you have both selected, Pictory will create a new sentence both at a sentence break and a line break for you. Once you made all these changes and you customized your content on the script editor, you can just click on proceed. This will take you to the template step. So templates are essentially a combination of branding and styles. So what you see here is the default option those that are given to you. And these are essentially just the way your captions will look like. You can select any of these templates under the template library and you can customize them in the storyboard later. You can add in your own branding. So you can add in your own logo, you can add in your own intro, outro visual, and you can also customize the way the captions look like. So you can have the style changed into whatever brand requirement that you have and save it within whichever template that you selected. And once customized, the template will show under My Templates. And the next time that you start a project, all you have to do is switch over to My Templates and pick your customized template, and whatever setting that you made earlier will be applied automatically. So I'll just go ahead and select the corporate template here. I'll choose the aspect ratio. So if I want a landscape video, I'll select 16:9. If I want a portrait video, I'll do 9:16. And if I want a square video for, let's say, LinkedIn or Instagram, I can do 1:1. Once you selected the aspect ratio, you click on continue. Now this is where Pictory is just doing its magic. It will analyze the content, it will split it into different scenes and pick out the relevant visuals for each scene. And this is where we get to the storyboard in a minute. Yeah. So this is the storyboard here. You have your scenes, you have your visuals, and this is where you'll be customizing it and taking your video to the next level. I'll take you through all the tabs here. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the Q&A tab here. So on the story tab, this is where you see your scenes as scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. You have the relevant visuals for each scene. You can make certain changes here as well. So if you wish to reorder your scene, you can just drag and drop to wherever you want them to be. If you feel like, let's say for scene 1 and you have too much text on your scene, or you just want like one line on it, for example, you can split your scene into two. To do that, I'll just click on wherever I want to split it, and you'll see there's a blinking cursor there. And then I can select the split scene option, and this will split my scene into two. So although you see it as two scenes, Pictory will still consider it as a single scene. That's why you see the visual is the same, and it is actually continuing from scene 1 to scene 2. So if you want a certain visual to continue from one scene to another, you can also link it. So that's where the link icon comes into play as well. I can link all the scenes that I want, and the linked scenes will be considered as one scene, and all the visuals will be the same for that. And if you want, you can also unlink the scenes here. Now, let's say you come to this step and you're like, if I want to make certain changes to the script, you can do that here as well. So you can click on the text here. You can delete, you can edit, you can write it again. And if you want to go back to the script editor, you can do that as well, as long as it is the same session. So if you come to this step, you want to go back, you can click on the previous button. But let's say you exit the application or you come back again some other time, you will not be able to go back to the storyboard, but sorry, to the script editor, but you can still make the text changes on this step itself, as I just showed. Then you have the visuals tab. So Pictory will assign certain visuals to each scene, but if you want, you can also replace them. So you have several tabs here. On the library tab, you will get all the relevant visuals for your scenes. So I can just click on any visual and it will be replaced on the right. Similarly, I can scroll through all the relevant visuals. I can search for any keyword that I want. And if it's on the library, it will show up here. If you notice, when I hover over a certain visual, there's the heart icon as well. This heart icon is for me to add that visual to my favorite. So once I do that, there's the heart icon on the top tab as well. These are all my favorite visuals that I can access from any project. So let's say I like a certain visual, I want to use it again, or I just don't want to search for it again. I can just click on the heart icon, and these are all my favorited visuals that I can just access simply. Then you have the textures tab. So textures is just solid backgrounds that you can add to your video. So if I just want these backgrounds or a solid color, I can do that here as well. Then you also have the My Uploads tab. Pictory does not limit you to just the visuals that are available on a library. If you want to upload your own video or image, you can do this here as well. And then you have all of these visuals saved under My Uploads, and you can click on it to replace it on the right again. That's how you can customize your video even further with all the media that's available to you already. Then you have the Elements tab. So this is one of the latest additions on Pictory. Here you can add a sticker, you can add a GIF, you can add an emoji to further personalize your video. So let's say I add this really cute sticker, by the way, over here. Then it will be applied on this scene. Now I can move this around and place it wherever I want to. Or if I click on it, I get different options here. The first one is to duplicate it in the same scene. And then the next one is to copy it to all scenes. So then the same sticker is being copied across your video. And then if you want, you can also delete the sticker over here. If you click on it, you have the toolbar on the top. This allows you to rotate it, flip it, also adjust the position across the scene through this grid here. So you can make all these changes to your video and the stickers, the elements that you add quite easily. Next, you have the audio tab. Audio tab is another major feature on Pictory. So you have split it into two. So you have the background music and the voiceover. So the background music will be suggested based on the context and the content that you put in. And you will have one that's applied already. And you'll have certain relevant recommendations as well. You can click on the play button on the left to preview what that sounds like, and the apply button on the right to apply it to your video. As you can see, while I hover over it, there's the favorite icon again. If you're using this, I would recommend to do it particularly for the background music because you might not always get the same recommendation. And if you really like a particular track, just add it to your favorites. So you don't have to remember the name or just trace it down again. And you can access it easily from your favorites tab. As you can see, I like quite a few tracks here. So you can just add them and apply it easily. You can also search for particular tracks by their name. You also have several filters here. So you have the mood, the purpose, the genre, and even the duration. So let's say you usually make like a 5-minute video or a 10-minute video. So you can select the duration, click on apply, and you'll get all the recommendations up to that duration. So if you select 10 minutes, you'll get all the tracks up to 10 minutes here. Of course, if there's no result on the particular genre, you might not get the result. So just fine tune it accordingly. Yeah. Then you have the voiceover. So you have the AI voiceover here. You have different accents. So you have the English, US, English, UK, Australian, Indian, and all these different accents available. You can click on the play icon on the left to preview what that sounds like and then apply it to your entire video. One thing to notice, you can only apply one voiceover for the entire video and one music track for the entire video. So you cannot have multiple tracks or voiceovers unless you are applying your own. Which brings me to my uploads. Here you can also apply your own voiceover or music track to your video. So once you go to the My Uploads tab, you can switch between the background music and voiceover tab here. So if you're applying your background music, you can upload it and it will show up below and you can just click on apply to your video. Then under the voiceover tab, there are two options to do this. You can upload it here or you can go to the video toolbar and there's option to upload voiceover or record voiceover. So you can do both of these. One thing to note here is if you're on the standard plan, you will be able to upload or record your voiceover on a scene by scene basis. But if you're on the premium plan, you can upload your voiceover and Pictory will auto sync it for you. So I have my voiceover here. Now there's the option to do it on the current scene or the entire video. So let's say I'll just do it for the entire video here. Pictory will auto sync it and then you can adjust the sync based on, let's say you want to fine tune it a little bit or if it's off on one scene, then you can just adjust it here and there. It does not trim the voiceover in any way. It just adjusts which scene it starts and ends from. You can also access your recently used background music through this tab here. And lastly, another newest addition is the volume control tab. So you can adjust your background music volume and the voiceover volume as well once you apply it or you've uploaded your voiceover. So let me just apply this voiceover here. And if I go here, now I have this option enabled. So I can choose to increase the voiceover or increase the background music and just play around with whatever setting sounds right to me and it'll be applied to this video. Then you have the text tab. So earlier we started from a script and this is the multiple text boxes. So here you can add a heading, you can add a subheading, or you can add a body text to your video. These are all independent from your script. Now, what does that mean? Is that if you add a text here, let's say if I'm adding a heading here or a title here, this is independent from the script that you've added. So the voiceover does not read it out or it will not sync to it. So it's meant to be decorative If you want to add this or add it as a watermark, you can do this here as well. And just like we did with the sticker here, you click on it, you get several options to duplicate, apply to all scenes, or delete. Another thing you might have noticed is you get a toolbar on the top here. This is your styles toolbar. This allows you to customize any text that you have on the screen. This includes the script as well, or your captions. So if you want to customize it, just click on it. You get the toolbar here. So I can change the font, for example. I can change the font size. I can change the text color. Let's give it a white background color here. And I can also change the color of the highlight. Now, all of these changes have only been applied to this scene. If I move over to scene 2, you see that there's the default option here. Now I can go to the one that I've changed, and you'll notice that there are two options on the right. The one to the very end is apply to all. Once I click on it, all the changes that I've made will be applied to my entire video. And if I want to save these settings and use it for my future projects, I can do that as well. I'll be clicking on save as style. I'll be giving it a name here. Let's say webinar style 1. I'll save it. When I save it, Pictory collects all the information from the changes. So the font that we changed, the color that we changed, the style that we added, all of it is collected and saved within the style. And you can access it by going into styles and the My Styles tab. And you'll notice there are all these other saved styles as well. So I can just click on any of them and the changes will be applied automatically. If you don't want to do that, and if you want it to be added as a default style for your videos, you can select it, and on the bottom left corner, you'll have the add to template option here. This will add the style to your current template that you've chosen. So here is the templates, and this is the templates really come into play, is to take out all the effort and to avoid duplication or just reduce your video creation time. Now this style is right here. I can hover over the three dots and I can choose it as my default intro style, default scene style, or outro style. So for example, if I choose it at the scene style, the next time I start a project and I select corporate one template, for example, if you notice it's been duplicated, it has a new name. I can give it any name that I want. So I have brand one here. So the next time that I start this project and I select the brand one template, and yeah, so if I select this brand one template, then all the settings that I have will be applied automatically. So including the style setting. Um, I have a question about scene reordering. So if you just want to reorder your scene, you can go to the story tab and you can drag and drop it wherever you want to do it, and the scenes will be reordered accordingly. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, so that's on the styles tab here. Then we move on to the branding tab. And here you have three separate options. You have intro, scene, and outro. So if you want to enable this, you can enable the intro tab. You can enable the outro tab, and then the scene once is there. So let's say on the intro scene, I have the option to add my own visual. So I'll go ahead and upload a visual that I have. I'm just customizing the same template that we selected earlier. So this is just uploading. It might take some time. Once it's uploaded, the preview will be shown on the little box here and of course on the video as well. You can upload your own logo here. So like a JPG or a PNG or JPEG, all of those are compatible with the logo, and the logo will show up on the right corner as well. You can customize this. You can adjust the logo size, you can adjust the logo position or also the opacity. Now, even if I'm moving this slider by 1 unit, that is also being saved within this template. Now that I've customized it, the next project that I start will have this visual, it will have this logo, and it will have the style that we saved. Let's just give this a try. I'm just starting another project here. Typically, you would select from the templates library, you'll customize it again, but you can just go into my templates. And as you can see, we have the customized template here. So I'll just select this. I'll select the aspect ratio. And once the storyboard loads, you'll see that the style is the same that we have customized, and you'll have the intro saved as well. So as you can see, we had the corporate style earlier with the blue background, but now this is the default style that we saved, and our intro is visible as well. This is the intro that we had uploaded. So this saves a lot of time and effort for your brand requirement and just to quicken the video creation for you as well. Then you can also upload your scene logo if you want, and you can do the same for your outro as well. Once all of this is done, your template is complete. And depending on the plan that you're on, you can create either 3 for the standard plan or 10 for the premium plan. So you can customize 3 or 10 unique templates. Each template can be used unlimited number of times. So if you have 3 separate brands or 10 separate brands, you can create 10 different templates. Lastly, I have the format tab here. I can choose between the video resolution 720p, 1080p. I can choose between different formats. So if I have a landscape video, I can repurpose it into a portrait video for my TikTok account, for example. If I want, I can adjust the frame here. And then I also have the square one here. So I can just adjust the frame again. And then once I made all the changes, let's say I have my landscape video, I'll click on the download button on the top right and then select video to download the video. Then come to portrait, make my adjustments and download it again and do the same for the square one. So just makes repurposing quite easy. So you don't have to start from scratch all over again. These are all the main tabs on Pictory. And if you look at the video toolbar on the bottom, you have the option to delete a scene. You also have the option to undo any steps that you've taken. So you can go back around 3 steps, 5 steps on your process. You can preview each scene. If I click on preview here, it will play the scene for me. And if I click on the preview button on the top, it will play the entire video for me. Then you have the option to trim your video or you trim your scene. So this is to adjust the scene duration. So if I click on trim video, I can choose the length of my scene here. So I'll, for example, select it as 6 seconds. I have trimmed it. I will exit this and then I'll go to the scene duration tab on the top and I'll select 6 seconds to match it to the trim that I've made. Then you can, of course, add your own voiceover here, upload or record. And there are other options under the settings tab on the very last corner is to loop the video to hide the caption that you have. So if I enable that, I can hide any caption that I want. And I can also turn off the zoom and pan for the visual here. On the right, you'll see the checkboxes to apply each setting to the entire video. So I can have any setting for this particular scene or for the entire video. Then you can also disable the voiceover. If you have uploaded your own video, you can mute it as well. And if you want to remove the background music or just mute it for a particular scene, you can do that. So once you've customized all these changes, one last thing to add here is the transitions. So between scenes, you'll see the transition icon here. You can click on it and then you have the different transition options available. I can click on any of them to apply it to my video. And then once I hover over them, so you'll notice it's now purple. So that indicates that a transition has been applied. I can hover over it and it will give me other options as well. I can change the transition. I can apply the transitions to the entire video. I can remove this transition and remove all the transitions from my video. One thing to note here is that the transition that you apply will not show up when you are editing or previewing the video, but they'll be present once you download the video. So that covers all the features of script to video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the Q&A and I'll be happy to answer them. Let me just share my screen again. The pan and zoom specifically works for the visuals that you have applied. If they are of a different aspect ratio, you can adjust them to whatever the one that you selected. So for example, if I disable this, it will not zoom into the visual. It will just revert to the original setting. So in this case, it is landscape. So if I enable this, it is now zoomed in. If I disable, it will go back to landscape and you'll have a blur background to it. So that's what zoom and pan is for. If you have an image, it will do the same, but it also sort of like glide through the video when you play. I'll just answer any questions that I see now. So transitions are pretty much for you to move from one scene to another. So instead of it just directly cutting, there will be like a transition or an effect. So there's the fade effect, or there's the wipe or the swipe effect. All of these just transition from one scene to another. Can you load a video with audio and does it recognize the text? Um, it will not recognize the text that's already present. But if you load a video, you can make a change to the script. You can edit the text that's associated with the scene, and then the AI will read it out loud. We currently do not have any effects like uh, confetti. You can add them as a visual on the scene, but that's pretty much it. Will there be more transitions added? You can leave your suggestions on the roadmap. Nisha, if you could just share the roadmap link here, that'll be great. How to change the text highlighting. Okay. Let's see. You can see my screen, right? You want to change the highlight, you can select the text. You can select whatever text you want or the word that you want to be highlighted. For example, if I want the word branded to be highlighted here, I'll select it. And from the toolbar, there's the pen icon on the top, which says highlight. I'll click on it and the word will be highlighted. And if I want to unhighlight it, I'll just do the same and then I'll click on unhighlight. We'll be sharing all the videos later as well. If you want to preview the entire video, you can click on the preview button on the top that's next to download, and this will preview the entire video with each scene. And you can also quickly just switch between scenes directly. Nizam, some default audio voiceover. Can you please elaborate on that? We add scenes of our own video covering a part of the content, like we can add our own voiceover. If you have your own video, you can upload them here. So if you go to the visuals tab, you can go to my uploads and you can upload it right here. And you can just replace any scene that you want and it will just play along the scene. So for example, I just click on this scene here. And if you have your own video, it will just play in sync with the rest of the video. The heading and the subheading, the reason why you cannot add voiceover to the heading and the subheading is because they are decorative. So it's just an extra text that you can add. So can I show two scenes with the same subtitle? If you do that, the voiceover will just repeat it again. You can split the same scene into two, but you cannot, you can add it, but the voiceover will just end up repeating it. If I upload a video and it's not in landscape mode, how it would be seen in the scene? Let's see if I have. So I have this image here that's not exactly in landscape, it's more square. So as you can see that there's a background on the sides that does not fit the ratio. So that's how the zoom and pan comes in. If I go to settings, I enable it. It will zoom the image in a way for it to fit the screen. If I turn it off, it will retain the original aspect ratio. If you have a vertical video, it will be vertical with the sides blurred. Here it's a square, so the sides are blurred as well. You can zoom in and it will fit the aspect ratio that you selected. If you have any technical questions, please direct them to support at Pictory.ai. That'll be a better and faster way to have it resolved. If you have any questions on how to use Pictory or anything specific to this webinar, I'll be happy to answer. It might spell out the words if you have it in all caps because there are certain abbreviations like or any abbreviation that you add in all caps, I think that's when it would spell it out. If it's something that's not happening and that's not the case, please just reach out to someone. How to change script text highlighting after scenes are generated. I'll give it another go here. So I have this text here, and as you can see, the word cost is highlighted. I can click on the word quick here and then I can click on the pen icon on the top on the toolbar and now it's highlighted. It will highlight the text, but it will not be refresh the visual for you. It will have the visual be the same, but you can change the highlight for the text anytime. So as you can see on the scene 2 here, only the word cost was highlighted earlier, but now the word quick is highlighted as well. We can also share a help article on how to highlight and unhighlight. Um, I can show you how can you show an example of the transition scene? So if I go to the transition here, I have the example of how the transition looks like. Wipe right, for example, as you can see, it's going from the dark blue to the light blue. So that's how it will go from scene 1 to scene 2 or so on and so forth. I cannot preview it. So if you apply a transition, it will not show on the preview, but it will show in the final video. I think those are the questions for now. Can I take off the Pictory logo in the last scene? I believe you're referring to the watermark that's on the free trial account. So the only way to remove that is to upgrade to any of our plans. Can I see how long was the scene that I added from visuals? If you add a visual here, like I did earlier, here it will retain the duration of the visual. So I have 13.8 seconds here, and you can see it in the scene duration. Any technical support you will get once subscribed. It it is available even if you're on the free trial, and even if you subscribe, whenever you do reach out, we'll be happy to help. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on support@pictory.ai, and we'll be happy to answer. How can you change the default template? We did go over this in the webinar, so we'll be sharing the recording immediately after. So I would request you to just go over that again, because then what is the best way to account for the background video I chose being longer in duration than the scene itself? I try to manually trim the video to match the scene duration. If it's longer than the scene, then it will have to be done manually. The way the scene duration is set is, let's say you're applying a voiceover. If it's the AI voiceover, it does take some time to read it out. So if you want some scenes to be longer than that, that will need to be done manually. The replays will be sent via email right after this webinar is over. Garrett, if you need further questions or like more explanation on this, please reach out to support@pictory.ai. We'll be happy to answer them. And if you're facing any issues regarding scene duration, we'll be happy to address that as well. To answer Nizam's question, will there be any copyright issue using default background music voiceover? All the videos, visuals that you see, music that you see, all of it is licensed and free to use. And you will not face any issue. If ever you do, please just reach out to us. We'll be happy to address that as well. For the standard plan, you can only up to 10 minutes script to video. Yes, that's correct. So you can create 30 videos up to 10 minutes each. Great. On that note, we'll be ending the webinar now. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope this was productive. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Have a good day. Bye-bye.